Antonio, talk about a lot about complimentary football and a couple of instances last night. The interception early on, and then the fourth quarter fumble by Josh, where your defense had to kind of respond. Is that kind of the point you guys are trying to make with that complimentary football?
Yeah, and I think just how do we handle adversity, right? Week one, I would say, first opportunity. We didn't have no adversity. Pretty smooth game. Last night, we had some ups and downs. Had things go our way, not go our way. But like we talked about, us sticking together, there's going to be moments where the defense is playing great, and there's moments the defense is not going to play great. And whenever that happens, and I thought the best thing they did when on both occasions, nobody blinked. We actually, tapped and loved each other up as they crossed paths, offense and defense. And it's just next play. It's another opportunity for us to be able to bounce back and make a play on defense.
Hey, Pete, can we get an update on Amik? He looked like his bell was rung.
Yeah, it was a pretty scary moment. But after the game, he was in the tunnel with me, high-fiving, shaking everybody's hand. Haven't seen him this morning. But after the game, he was in great spirits, in the locker room, having fun with the boys.
Antonio, a lot of the players have talked about, knowing what they believe this team is capable of moving forward and sort of the big picture view of what you're trying to accomplish this season. Do you sense that belief, that they can, make a run and potentially make the playoffs this year?
I don't think we're worried about making a run. What we've been doing is, page by page, step by step, not cheating the process because we can't get too far of ourselves, too ahead of ourselves. Obviously, the belief is getting there, believing in one another, trusting one another, being accountable to one another, playing for one another, and being together. That's look, we'll count the wins at the end of the season, but right now we're still trying to build that foundation of our team in our locker room.
How important was it last night sticking with the running game and paying off in the second half? And what kind of, tone does that set going forward?
Yeah, one of our messages early in the week that I told the team was that we need to start to impose our will. And the only way you can do that is by two things, right? Stopping the run on defense and running the ball on offense. I thought the defensive line, our guys up front, did a really excellent job against Hall in that front and that offensive line, what they want to do with running the ball. But in the second half, you saw what time it was, right? It was Josh Jacobs' time. It was hammer time. And you saw the energy not only with our offensive line, our running back, and our offense, but our team. It changed our whole mentality in that third quarter, and I think that's where things started to shift in our favor.
Coach, last week you came out here and told us that Robert Spillane was playing with a broken hand. He's, fighting and battling. How big is it just to see him and also for the defense to see him make a play like that, battling through what he's going through?
Yeah, like we said, didn't miss a beat. Actually changed a little bit to his cast and was able to have all his fingers moving, which was really good. And obviously that was a hell of a play by him. And that's film study. That's something we've been talking about even before I got in this position. And Matt Finney did an excellent job, who stepped in as a linebacker coach and just kept preaching that and prepping that for us in practice. But, man, you got your superstars and the Max Crosby of the world, but you got that lunch pail guy. And this guy just loves ball, man. You can just see it on his face. You can see the energy and the excitement that he brings to our team and just again, what we talked about, the will to win, and just being gritty.
You mentioned Josh's long run to get you down there, but it felt like a situation where you almost had to come out with a touchdown right there. And that third down play, the play that Aiden made, the play that Michael Mayer made, if you could just kind of talk about what you saw, especially when you looked back on that on film.
Yeah, I said earlier in the week, it was going to be a slugfest. Didn't think it was going to be a high-scoring affair. Didn't think it was going to be a lot of touchdowns out there. We did feel whichever team either had the most, obviously no-brainer, or who scored first with a touchdown would have the advantage. And that was the mindset. And, again, we was down here earlier in the game, and penalties backed us up again, unfortunately. But that was our mindset. I did not want to kick a field goal there. I was praying that one of our players would make a play, and obviously Aiden and Mike did a hell of a job of throwing up, and Mike, big boy football there, big boy football.
You've been there, done that as a player in the league, but what is it like to win a tough-fought battle like that one last night?
It feels good because it's everything that we're preaching, throughout the week. Being together, being tough, playing a full 60 minutes, right? It was a full 60 minutes all the way to the end, to that last play, Hail Mary play. And the biggest thing that I took away from last night was, 5, 6 seconds left on the clock. I got Devontae Adams here. I got Josh Jacobs here. I got the entire offense right next to the defense, and we're all cheering each other on. Like, hey, let's go, guys. You got it. One more play. Let's get this stop. And, that's what we needed. We talked about everybody being all in and buying into what we're doing and that team bond and unity and togetherness. And to me, that was the best example that we can show Raider Nation and everybody, what this team is about.
What does it feel like when that Hail Mary's in the air? Does this like it's up there forever?
Yeah, no. I caught my breath for a long time. It took me a minute, obviously even the post game. It's scary because there's a lot of factors, and you don't want to be on the opposite side of that one. You don't want to be on the negative side of that. And obviously our guys did a good enough job. We got some things to work on that play, but it was good enough for us to get the win.
Sort of piggybacking off the previous question, in boxing, styles makes fights sometimes, and you played one team one way last week, and then you had to face a totally different team in the Jets, and maybe fight a different style of fight in that game. How important is that to be able to go into situations and find the resolve to fight the way the fight needs to be fought to win a game?
Yeah, that's what we get paid for as coaches, right? To find out, how do we win? What's the ways to win? Every week it's not going to be the same. You saw what we did out the gate. What we do, we went right to Devontae Adams. You know what I mean? Because why? They're going to stack the box for who? Josh Jacobs. So, and defensively, what we need to do, we need to stop the running game, right? And we wanted to hopefully put the ball in the quarterback's hand and let him make a mistake, which he did. So every week, there's a strategy to it, and obviously you want to stick to it. And I think the hardest thing to do and the most difficult thing to do is, even when it's going good or bad, just sticking to the plan. Don't get too cute. Don't get fancy. Keep the game simple. Let's not overthink ourselves.
As you watched the film, was there anybody that stood out that maybe from field level you didn't see that you thought played pretty well?
There's quite a few, obviously. I'll go first to Robert Spillane. I'm gonna start there. In the running game, first and foremost, Mike linebacker against the running back, right? And when you hold that particular individual haul to 2.2, 2.3 per carry, wow, right? That's the front, but I'm gonna go to the Mike linebacker. I'm biased there. I think I'll go to our offensive line. You look at Greg. We moved Jermaine from right tackle to left tackle midweek. That's hard to do against a very good defensive line, and we knew that group was good. The depth, the rotation that they had, and just to keep coming, our guys just to keep withstanding, the bullets that were getting thrown at us. That was impressive with that group. So, yes, I like to do the individual thing, but I'll really just say, if I had to put a bank on it, our offensive line and Robert Spillane. He's doing well. I know here in a second, once these guys, getting through treatment and all that stuff, Victory Monday, so a little slower day of everybody coming in the building.
Corian Bennett's kind of faced your typical rookie year, a lot of ups and downs and different situations. But for him to respond, come into the game the way he did, hasn't dropped his head no matter what the situation is, and be able to respond, how big was that?
Yeah, I think for all our rookies, right? These guys now late in the season, the vets who've played a lot and got a lot of wear and tear on themselves, and a lot of miles for these young guys to start developing. And obviously he started early on for us, took a little break, had a little setback there, but between him, Bernie's done a great job, and obviously we see what Tyree's doing each and every week. And then Big Mike, just now when you start seeing your rookies, Tucker, just keep naming them. They're making plays now, they're making headway. We don't need them to be the guy to make every play, but they're making headway, and that's going to help us in the long run.
We talk about special teams a lot with your team, and usually that's Standout and AJ, and they had good games as usual, but you had a big return last night too.
Oh, yeah.
How big can that be for your team, and what did you see on that play?
Yeah, we've been waiting for that from DC for a while now, and we had a good conversation on Friday, and I said, man, bright lights, certain stars shine brighter, and I said this would be a great opportunity. I said, no more fair catching. No more fair catching. Let's get that ball and go straight ahead, and he did that, and those two returns late in the game, third quarter, was huge for us. Obviously, field positions, what we were playing in the second half, keeping those guys backed up and keeping our offense around midfield. And our special teams has been, like I said from the jump, has been kind of the heart and soul of our team. They've been rock solid for us throughout the year. And when we get that return game going, that's even critical because, look, 10 yards is another first down. Put 30 on it, forget about it. Now we got 3 of them.
I know last week you said, it's not going to be perfect for you in transition, and yesterday you had the challenge. I guess what went into the communication there, and what about that process can you guys kind of look at and figure things out?
Yeah, lesson learned. I just got to do a better job listening to the people in my ear. But obviously, it's a lesson learned. Again, there was 2 different things I was looking at there. I'll leave that for us as a staff, but obviously that was a mistake on my behalf and a lesson learned.
You referenced the rookies, Byron and Nesta. Is there something they need to do, Coach, to get on the field, or is it the fact the veterans in front of them are playing well enough to keep them off?
Both, but practice. The way you practice now, you get elevated, right? You have a great week of practice either on the look team or if you get opportunities on defense. It might be only a handful of snaps, right? But we do got some veterans that are playing well, and Big Jenkins are in there, Tillery, Bilal, Adam Butler, woo. You know, if you're a rookie, you got to bring your A game. It's got to be every day, and they're getting there. Have you seen? We've kind of like sprinkled them in here and there, but you know, as we're on this stretch, we'll do what's best for the team. They understand that. They know their name will be called. Look, Bernie started last week for us. And then this week he took a back seat because Diablo's back, right? So just be ready, be a pro, just keep studying and be ready when your name's called. Let's go.
Coach, how have you felt just in this position so far, 2-0, processing some of the challenges that arise during situational play?
Actually, it's been really good for me. Throughout the week, myself and Matt Shelton, that's really what I spend most of my time on, to be honest with you. I'm with the offense. I let PG and those guys do what they do with the defense. I stick my head in there, but the situational end of half, 4-minute, fourth quarter, that's where AP's in the classroom, right? I'm taking my notes. I got my notes on the sideline. We're going through that minutes prior, even a quarter prior to the situation coming up, so I'm aware of what's going on and not surprised by it. Obviously, that's a big factor in the game. I thought, again, last night I had some good ones and I had some bad ones. We got to learn, no different than the players. So I took accountability for that in front of the group, and I'll get better as we go.
You guys all set?
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Nate.